The night was dark. The air was cold. The streets were quiet. Only the sound of police sirens broke the silence. Blue and red lights flashed against the buildings. Officer Maria drove fast. She had received the emergency call only 5 minutes ago. Animal in distress, the dispatcher had said. But something inside Maria told her this was not a normal call. Her hands gripped the steering wheel tighter. Her heart beat faster. When she arrived at the scene, a small crowd stood on the sidewalk. People whispered to each other. They pointed, but did not move closer. Some had tears in their eyes. Others covered their mouths. There, lying in the middle of the wet road, was a dog. Not just any dog, a German shepherd. He was wounded. Blood covered his shoulder. His breathing was heavy. His chest moved up and down slowly. His brown eyes were full of pain, but also full of something more. Hope. Maria stepped out of her car. She walked carefully toward the injured animal. Her police boots splashed in the puddles. The rain had just stopped, but the ground was still wet. The dog did not growl. He did not bark. He simply looked at her. His eyes begged for help. As Maria knelt down, she saw something surprising. The dog was dragging a backpack with him. The backpack was old, dirty, and torn. It was covered in dust and blood. The straps were broken, but somehow the dog had kept it with him. Maria reached out slowly. "It's okay, boy," she whispered. "I'm here to help." The dog made a soft sound, like a weak whimper. Then, with the little strength he had left, he pushed the backpack closer to her with his nose. Maria's hands shook as she touched the backpack. She unzipped it carefully, afraid of what she might find inside. Inside the backpack, there were a few things. The first thing she saw was a photograph. A man in a military uniform smiled at the camera. He was holding a small girl in his arms. The girl had drawn hearts on the photo with a red crayon. On the back of the photo, someone had written, "Come home soon, Daddy. We miss you." Maria felt her throat tighten. Her eyes filled with tears. This was not just any soldier. This was a father, a husband, someone's family. Next, she found a small notebook. The pages were wet and stained, but she could still read some words. "Day 103, running low on food. Hope Bravo makes it out. Tell my family I love them." She froze. "Bravo?" she whispered. She looked at the dog. "Is that you?" she asked softly. The dog blinked slowly, almost as if answering her. Maria kept searching the backpack. She found a dog tag, a metal tag with a name, Staff Sergeant Cole Matthews. Maria felt a lump in her chest. She had heard that name before. Sergeant Cole had been missing for months. His unit had been caught behind enemy lines during a secret mission overseas. Everyone thought they were dead. But now, here was this dog, Bravo, carrying proof that Cole might still be alive. Maria's head spun. The dog had traveled far. He was injured, tired, but he never gave up. He had come all this way for a reason. Maria gently stroked Bravo's head. "You're a brave boy," she whispered. "We're going to help you." As the paramedics arrived to care for Bravo, Maria stood up. She held the backpack tightly. Inside it was not just a photo or a notebook. Inside it was a message. A cry for help from a soldier who might still be alive. The night felt heavier now. The mystery had only just begun. But one thing was clear. Bravo's journey was not for nothing. Maria sat at her desk in the police station. The backpack was in front of her. She stared at it, her mind full of questions. Bravo, the wounded dog, was resting at the vet. The doctors were doing their best to help him. But Maria knew time was running out. She opened the notebook again. The pages were full of short messages. Some were hard to read because of the stains, but some words were clear. Day 97, hiding in the caves. Day 103, Bravo is my only hope. Day 112, low food, low water. Day 120, I pray someone finds this. Each word hit Maria like a heavy stone. Sergeant Cole was still out there. He was alive when he wrote these messages. But where was he now? Was he still alive? Was he safe? Maria could not sit still. She stood up and walked quickly to the tech room. Officer James was already working on the USB drive found in the backpack. "Anything?" Maria asked, her voice full of hope. James nodded slowly. "Yes. There are video files. Some are damaged, but a few work." He clicked on the first video. The screen lit up. Sergeant Cole's face appeared. He looked tired. His beard was long and his eyes were sunken. But he was alive. "Day 142, Cole said softly. His voice shook a little. "We are still trapped. The mission failed. Our team is scattered, some are dead, some are missing. I don't know if anyone will see this, but Bravo. Bravo is my last chance." Maria's eyes filled with tears again. James played the next video. "Day 150, running out of food. Enemy soldiers are nearby. I trained Bravo well. He knows how to get home. If anyone finds him, please. Tell my wife, tell my daughter. I love them." The video ended. The room was silent. Only the soft hum of the computer filled the air. Maria wiped her tears. She could feel Cole's pain. She could feel his hope. Bravo had made it all the way back home. He had delivered this message. But now what? Maria walked to her captain's office. She knocked on the door. "Come in," the captain said. She entered, holding the notebook and the USB drive. "Captain, Sergeant Cole might still be alive. Bravo brought this back. We need to send a rescue team." The captain frowned. "Maria, the mission was secret. That area is dangerous. We can't just send people in. We don't even know if Cole is still alive." "But we have proof," Maria said, her voice strong. "He was alive just weeks ago. Bravo made it. We can find him." The captain shook his head. "I'm sorry, it's too risky. This is not our decision." Maria left the office angry and sad. She felt helpless. But then, an idea came to her mind. She called a few old friends, veterans, people who knew Sergeant Cole, people who owed him their lives. Slowly, a small group came together. They were ready to help. That night, they met in a small room. The group was made up of ex-soldiers, police officers, and brave volunteers. "We can't wait for permission," Maria said. "Every day we wait, Cole might be dying. Bravo brought us this far. We have to finish the mission." The others nodded. They all understood. Cole had saved many of them in the past. Now it was their turn to save him. They made a plan. They gathered maps, supplies, and weapons. They studied the last known location written in Cole's notebook. But there was one problem. They needed Bravo. The vet warned Maria. "He's still weak. He has injuries. This could be dangerous for him." Maria knelt beside Bravo. She looked into his eyes. "You've come so far," she whispered. "Can you help us one more time?" Bravo lifted his head slowly. His tail wagged just a little. His eyes were full of determination. The team was ready. The journey would be dangerous. But they had hope, and they had Bravo to guide them. The sun was setting behind the mountains. The sky turned orange and pink. The rescue team moved carefully through the thick forest. The air was cold. Every sound made them stop and listen. Bravo walked in front of the group. His steps were slow but sure. Even with his wounds, he led the way. His nose stayed close to the ground, smelling for any sign of Sergeant Cole. Maria followed closely behind Bravo. She held her breath, hoping they were getting closer. The team stayed quiet. They trusted Bravo completely. They had faced many dangers during the journey. Armed enemies, rough mountains, long nights with little sleep. But they never gave up. Bravo always kept moving forward. After many days, Bravo suddenly stopped. His ears stood up. His body became stiff. He sniffed the air and looked to the left. "What is it, boy?" Maria whispered. Bravo barked once, then started walking quickly toward a group of thick trees. The team followed him, their hearts beating fast. They pushed through the branches and found a hidden cave entrance. It was almost invisible from the outside. Only someone who knew the land well could find it. Bravo stood at the entrance and barked again, louder this time. Inside the dark cave, there was movement. A shadow appeared. Then a man slowly stepped out into the fading light. It was Sergeant Cole. He was thin and weak. His face was pale. His beard was long and his clothes were torn, but his eyes were full of life. Cole froze when he saw the group. His eyes locked on Bravo first. "Bravo," he said softly, his voice breaking. Bravo wagged his tail and let out a soft, happy whine. Then he ran forward and jumped into Cole's arms. Cole fell to his knees, hugging Bravo tightly. Tears streamed down his face. His voice shook as he spoke. "You did it, buddy. You did it." Maria and the team stood quietly for a moment, their eyes filled with tears at the beautiful scene. Then Maria stepped forward. "Sergeant Cole," she said gently. Cole looked up at her, still holding Bravo. His voice was weak. "Maria, I can't believe it. You found me." "We didn't find you," Maria said with a smile. Bravo did. The team moved quickly to help Cole. They gave him water, food, and warm clothes. They checked his wounds and made sure he could walk. As they walked out of the forest together, Cole told them what had happened. After the mission failed, many of his team were killed. The rest were scattered. He had hidden in the cave for many months, living off the little food he could find. He trained Bravo to escape and find help, even though he wasn't sure it would work. "I knew Bravo was smart," Cole said, smiling weakly, "but I never imagined he'd make it all the way home." Maria touched Bravo's head gently. "He never gave up on you, and neither did we." The journey back home was long, but safe. The rescue team was careful. They stayed away from danger. They were all focused on bringing Cole back alive. When they finally reached home, the news spread fast. Reporters, cameras, and people from all over the country wanted to hear the story. Everyone called Bravo a hero. Laws were changed. Military rules were updated. More care was given to soldiers and the dogs who served with them. People finally understood how important these brave dogs were. Cole was reunited with his wife and daughter. They cried and hugged each other tightly. Their family was whole again. Bravo was given the best care. He was healthy again and spent his days sleeping peacefully next to the fireplace in Cole's home. Every night, Cole would sit beside him and whisper, "You saved my life, Bravo. You brought me home." And Bravo, with his eyes full of peace, would simply wag his tail. The sun was just rising when Maria and the team left. The air was cold and the sky was orange. Their bags were full of food, water, and medical supplies. They knew this trip would not be easy, but they also knew they had no choice. Bravo walked beside Maria. His steps were slow but steady. His body was weak, but his heart was strong. He seemed to know exactly where to go. His nose sniffed the air, his ears turned to every sound, and his eyes stayed sharp. The team flew on a small private plane to a nearby country. From there, they drove in old trucks through dirt roads and broken villages. Sometimes they saw groups of armed men. Sometimes they heard gunfire in the distance. Every mile was dangerous. "Keep your heads down," one of the veterans said. "Stay together," another warned. Bravo stopped often. He smelled the ground, looked around, and then kept moving. Maria trusted him completely. She knew Bravo was following Cole's scent. She knew he would not stop until he found his partner. Days passed. They crossed rivers. They climbed rocky hills. They slept in abandoned houses at night. The sound of the wind howled like voices in the darkness. Fear was always with them. One night, as they camped near a forest, they heard noises, footsteps in the trees. "Quiet," a team member whispered. Everyone grabbed their weapons. The night was silent again, but the fear stayed. Enemies could be anywhere. "Bravo, stay close," Maria whispered, her hand gently on his back. Suddenly, Bravo's ears perked up. He stood, still staring into the trees. His body shook, but not from fear and from excitement. Maria saw it too. In the dirt near the trees there were footprints, fresh ones. "He's close," she whispered. "He was here not long ago." The next day they found more signs. An old campfire, empty cans of food, pieces of cloth hanging on branches. And on one tree, they saw something that made everyone stop and stare. A small piece of fabric from a military uniform. Cole's name was still written on it. "He's alive," one of the veterans said softly. "He's still fighting to survive." The group felt new energy. Their tired bodies now moved faster. Their hearts beat with hope. The deeper they went into the mountains, the harder it became. The paths were narrow and full of sharp rocks. The air was thin, making it hard to breathe. But Bravo never stopped. Step by step, he led them forward. One afternoon, as the sun was setting, they heard gunshots, loud and close. The sound echoed in the mountains. "Get down," a team member shouted. They dropped to the ground, hiding behind rocks. The gunfire continued for a few minutes, then stopped. Maria's heart pounded. She held Bravo tightly. "Are you okay?" she whispered to him. Bravo licked her hand softly as if saying, "Yes." After the gunfire stopped, they waited for a while. Then they moved again, more carefully than before. The next morning, something incredible happened. Bravo suddenly started barking, not loudly but with short, excited barks. His tail wagged and his eyes shone with energy. He ran forward, pulling on his leash. Maria shouted, "He found something, follow him." The team followed Bravo through thick trees and tall grass. The path twisted and turned, but Bravo knew exactly where to go. Then they saw it. At the bottom of a small hill there was a cave. Smoke came out from inside, like someone had lit a small fire. Bravo barked again and ran toward the cave entrance. Maria's hands shook. Tears filled her eyes. "Is he inside?" she whispered. The team took their positions, ready for anything. Maria stepped closer to the cave and called out, her voice shaking. "Sergeant Cole! Cole, are you in there? It's Maria. We came for you." The cave was silent for a moment. Then, from inside, a weak voice answered, "Maria? Is that really you?" Maria dropped to her knees, crying. They had found him.